Welcome back to Module 7. And in this module, I'm going to show you how to use AI to do market research. Now, I could talk all day about this topic because it is something I'm literally obsessed over, but I promise I won't. And here's what I'm going to say. I personally don't believe in competition. The reason I want to look at an industry, I want to understand it, is I believe we must fall in love with our clients. And by understanding the world they live in, the challenges they have, we can identify the opportunities. And I'm not going to cover this in this particular video, but one of the magical things is if we can uncover an opportunity that nobody else is working on or that nobody's doing well, we can create a blue ocean strategy and we can launch a new innovative product that serves our existing clients. And so to me, I love innovating because once we've acquired the client, why wouldn't we find new ways to serve them? So you will see Module 7. I started by pasting in the slide deck and my prompts. And then I asked it, I'd like to work on these four things together. So we can use AI to understand trends, competitors, and opportunities. Here's some research tasks. Here's a market research prompt library, and of course, using ChatGPT to analyze. Now, here's the thing. These are all pretty generic. I could end the video now and I could say, look, I delivered on my promise, but I'm not that person. I'm a little crazy. I like to over deliver. So we have four core areas to work on together. Can you guide me in creating SOPs for each of these four areas? Now, I like to be specific. I like to list things. Sometimes it feels a little repetitive. Um, Before we begin, I would like to create a world-class SOP for using ChatGPT to conduct market research in these four areas. You're going to see a theme here, so spoiler alert. What categories of experts can assist me with creating this SOP? For each category, please list at least three individual world-class experts who can guide us. Now, the reason I go like that is we don't want the generic answer that most people get on ChatGPT. So we want to be specific, and we're basically saying these are the experts we want to listen to. So you can see it's given us some individual experts and it's given some categories. Thank you so much. Based on our expert categories, experts, you help me create best practices for each of our four areas for market research. And basically, we get best practices. And I love what are the latest disruptive technologies? How can we identify pain points? And I strongly encourage you, once you identify who your avatar is and you can explain their demographics, their psychographics, always ask the question, what are their key pain points? What are their frustrations, their fears, their wants, their aspirations, the better you get to know your best clients, the better you can attract more. And I say jokingly that that's how you clone your clients. Okay, so that's a pretty good list of best practices. Thank you for your help. Oops. Based expert categories, individual experts and best practices, and we create a detailed SOP for each of our 4 areas. I would like to pass this along to my team for them to do research. Now, I have a detailed research process I do. I'm not going to get into it here, but basically, if you can identify the industry that you serve and the geography you serve, then you can identify the conferences that people in that industry attend. You can identify from the conferences who the organizers of the conference are, who the speakers are, who the typical attendees are, and who the sponsors are. And then you can reach out to the sponsors, the speakers, the organizers, and you can build a Dream 100 strategy based on the work of Chet Holmes or Russell Brunson or Dana Derricks, who all three talk about Dream 100. In my world, Chet Holmes originated it, but I believe Dana Derricks has it trademarked. But if you can understand an industry, and by the way, if you don't know where to start in terms of what pain do my clients have, look at the conferences they go to and look at the topics they're talking about. Once upon a time, I went to bookkeeping conferences. All the rage was cloud accounting. And then for a while, it was pricing services. And now I think it's shifting to customer retention, things like that. But if you look at the conferences and you just read the agendas, and by the way, you can copy and paste that agenda into ChatGPT, it'll help you analyze and come up with content that you can use to solve problems. So you can see I used my categories, individuals framework, and now we have 4 SOPs for doing market research. And again, you can now copy this into a new chat conversation and say, ChatGPT, I am targeting this industry in this geographic region. Here's what I know about them. Can we tailor this to that specific audience? And this is magical because once you understand the pain points of your audience, once you understand the language they use, then everything you do, including your onboarding, can use their language. My big pet peeve with most professionals is we've spent so much time learning these things. We love the acronyms, we love the jargon, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of times we feel a little smarter than everybody because we know something others don't. Your job is to be understood. So, one of the things you can do is take all the jargon you use and you can actually just type something in to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, please identify the jargon I used in this conversation and help me translate it into average, ordinary English. Or even better, translate it into the language that my ideal client uses. And of course, you have to identify your ideal client. So this is module 7. It's fun, but basically, I'm going to say this as bluntly as I can without being offensive. Most people don't do market research, and quite frankly, I think it's lazy. And I say this for professionals because a lot of professionals, they train in a firm and they learn things, and then they go out on their own and they spend all their time trying to replicate the things that they did at their original firm. My advice to you is solve the problems that are uncommon, unusual. Find a niche within a niche, and the more specialist you can be, the more you're worth to the world. And by the way, sometimes being an expert at diagnosing problems is a big enough specialty on its own. So if you fall in love with the problems, you fall in love with your client, you can find ways to solve it, and that can be ways to increase your revenue without adding new clients. So again, I will share this in the Word document attached to this module, and copy and paste the parts that are relevant to you and ask GPT how you can customize it for your industry, your business, etc. And the thing is, if you do this little thing, this is not a big complicated thing, it will set you apart, because in my world, I would estimate less than 20% of businesses actually know with any clarity who they serve and what pain they have. And really, truly, once upon a time, competitor analysis was exhausting, boring, hard work. You had to pay somebody to disappear and do research for months. Now you can use ChatGPT as a really good, quick, and by the way, you can use ChatGPT and say, what question should I ask to uncover this? You can ask GPT to help you. There are other tools out there that do this really well as well. But for now, I just want you to have something done, because something is always better than nothing when it comes to market clarity. So feel free to ask your questions. We will be doing FAQ sessions. We'll be doing open forums where you can ask me questions. But always think about, what should I know to ensure that I'm doing this correctly?